Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you find yourself. Welcome to Seasons of AI, Season 4, with your Soli Samala joining, where we talk about building AI agents in Azure AI services. If this is your first time joining my stream, welcome. Um, I try to do this as often as I can, but today's it's a specific session to talk about AI stuff, how to build AI. Even though the session is specifically for developers, there are a lot of things that I'll be talking about that is related to general AI, copilot, agentic, and all the crazy buzzwords that's happening around the areas of AI. Um, Feel free to give us shout outs. Just feel free to tell us where you're joining from in any of the chat. If you're watching me on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, X, Twitch, all the platforms you're watching me from, thank you for joining. Spending your could be your morning, your afternoon, your evening, whatever that is for me, to learn something about AI, specifically in the Microsoft context. Thank you for joining. I see. Hi. Let's get these messages on so that we can actually get people's messages on just to get them welcome. So we have, hi, I'm Theophilus First of Accra Technical University Computer Science. Welcome to yours, Theophilus and Accra Technical University, guys. Thank you for joining. Good to see you on the stream. Yeah, so as I was saying, I'm trying to put together this, hopefully within an hour and maybe a few more minutes depending on what we want to do. I want it to be as hands-on as possible and also be able to answer all your questions you have on AI, from using it to creating your own agent. You will notice the evolution from the conversations of saying conversational bot to now what we call agent. That's kind of like the new term now that refers to conversational bot. And we have here Ernest Boating. Welcome, Nanelle. Ernest Boating, welcome, 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 joining the show. We have Odame, also from Accra Technical University. Thank you for joining, guys. I appreciate that much. Share the live. Let people join because we're going to learn a couple of interesting things today. Um, so, like I was saying, there's going to be different parts of it. Today, specifically, um, tailored toward how to build your own agent. There is a lot of buzzwords going on. Interesting conversation on my WhatsApp when I started to go live was a question that was asked whether was AI better than traditional tools, and I was saying just reminiscing from a couple of AI sessions I've been on where there was a distinct conversation that talked about how AI is actually changing the way we work. AI is not changing our work, but AI is changing the way we work. And if there's time, I'm going to show you a couple of things that I did with a combination of AI tools that allowed me to be like probably 100 times productive, where I had the opportunity to technically develop about 3 applications using AI, from the front end to the back end to all the other stuff, and just AI helping. Um, Hi, Henry, computer science. Uh, okay, University of Mines and Technology, Tapak. Nice, nice, nice. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Good to see you here as well. We have Agatha. Okay, hi, Dennis. Watching from Ghana, Institute of Ghana University. Okay, all right. And I can see my man here, Obed. Hey, to you. Thank you for joining. Thank you for pulling in the numbers. I appreciate that very much. And that conversation is look at this, and again another WhatsApp group with, and these are like top tier engineers, right? And we're having the conversation, and one of them made a reference that, look, guys, if you're not using AI to pair program or to vibe code, you're missing out, because it multiplies your productivity by 10, especially for us who are doing engineers. Now think about it this way: as a software engineer or solutions person, using AI now or an agent is like you having like a junior engineer, right? Who is developing or who is working on the specifications you've created, right? That's how AI is right now, especially if you're using Copilot agent, if you're using Sonnet, if you're using any of them. That is how AI is now. It's more or less like that your junior engineer or developer you have to say, hey, this is what I want to do, go build. And AI is doing it, and you're just making the changes to it. So that is what we're going to see today. Hi, John. Thank you for joining. We have Cornelius. Okay, ATU. I see ATU is heavily ATU is heavily represented. I think I'd have to do an in-person event for ATU guys because I see massive ATU guys on it as well. Awesome. Thank you. Welcome. And don't forget, keep your questions coming. At some point, we'll try to answer the questions as they go on. Hi, Comfort. Welcome to the stream. We have Henrietta also from ATU. Awesome. That's good. All right. Yeah, there's a lot of ATU guys. Thank you, ATU, for pushing the stream for us. We have Zainab, thank you for joining. And yeah, feel free. I'm trying to combine this into a very hands-on session. And then also, answering your questions about AI and how that works. So, hi, Collins. Awesome. Nice to meet you as well. Collins, interesting. All right. So, before we get going, a couple of housekeeping things. So, Microsoft Build begins on Monday, this Monday, from the 19th to the 22nd of May. I'm going to be there at Build. I'm actually going to be in the expert session for Copilot Studio and then Microsoft Azure Foundry, which is what I'm trying to walk you through today. So what you're going to see me do is going to be glimpses and excerpts of what I'll be in the expert session to do. So if you happen to be at Build from Monday to like Thursday or Friday, just come by. Hey, Christy also joined. Thank you, Christy, for joining. Awesome there. Stan, also thank you for joining. So if you happen to be in Microsoft Build, feel free to pass by the AI Copilot and AI booth. I'll be there to answer all your questions about Copilot and Agent. And that's a similar thing I'm going to be doing today here as well. So and post that, right? Post Build, feel free to also ask all the questions you want to ask me about AI, especially, there's a lot of talk about, how this is how you can just use AI in your application this way, but there isn't that low level showing you how you can use it, how you can use the tools that Microsoft is providing you to build this, and that's what we're going to be seeing today as well. So yeah, David Mensah, nice to see you. Thank you. We have a lot of you coming from ATU. Mataidu from Accra Technical University. Thank you so much. And I believe I want to also share a couple of things as well. So the other announcement is really for my folks in Ghana. I see you, Elliot, also on from the Philogics team. So for my folks as well, I have also been nominated for the Ghana Youth Excellence Award in the Youth Technology and IT Personality of the Year category in the third edition. Couple of weeks, just about a week and a half to go. So please kindly vote for me. Yours truly is *920 *32* hash, and then my code is GB616 up there. I'll be very grateful if you would show me some love. I would really be grateful if you can show me some love as well on that note. And a couple of other things I want to share, which I believe is of interest. If you've been following me for some time now, I shared some information about the Microsoft AI Fest, or the Skills Fest, which was an opportunity or a challenge for you to be part of a Microsoft Guinness World Record for the largest number of people who are learning online learning at a go. And I'm happy to announce that Microsoft got that title. So currently, Microsoft is the Guinness World Record holder for most users to take an online multi-level artificial intelligence course in 24 hours. And by virtue of us participating, we are what we call co-record holders. So we also have the same record with Microsoft as Guinness World Record holders for the most users to have taken an online course. So that is what we have. So big ups to all of us who actually participated in this. That's really awesome. Okay, so away with all the plenty talks. I think we're going to jump into it. Hi, Felix from ATU. Awesome. ATU guys, massive love. I love you guys, ATU guys. we're pushing the numbers. That's good. I like that. Now, so let's get into the meat of things. It's okay if you I think Elliot, I might have to bring you in to moderate some of the questions for me so I can focus on on this. So um, I'm going to Elliot. I'm going to bring you in, all right, so that you can actually help me moderate the chat. So I am not distracted when I'm actually doing we're doing our own thing. So I'm sending you the invite to join the studio. I'm bringing you. You can just be moderating the chat and answering the questions and doing um, all that we need to do. So let's get into the meat of things. We're going to be talking about building AI agents in Azure, leveraging the Azure AI Foundry, but then specifically Azure AI Agent Service. And of this is part of Seasons of AI Season 4, and I'm specifically going to lead this for you. This is there were multiple seasons, Season 1, Season 2, 3, and this is 4. And this is actually like a very huge set of AI programs or sessions that starts from very beginner level all the way to advanced. And today I'm going to run you through how to work on that. But there's going to be a complete how to series on my YouTube channel on Demystify Tech. But it's a show I do every Friday on all my social channels. We're going to, uh, let's see, we're going to be doing a complete, how do we call it? Start of that. So that's just for your information. But if you want to, I've done a couple of things already there, but specifically this will be geared towards giving you that introduction. So let's get started. I want to move through this quickly so we can actually do the hello, Raphael. Hello. All right. So let's get through it. So this guy likes to talk a lot. So let's get started. Who am I? So my name is Samuel Adrani. I am currently the lead for Crafted Climate. It's a sustainability startup that seeks to build locally developed sensors for environmental. Hey, Kelvin has to join us. Environmental monitoring. I am a cloud solutions architect with emphasis on AI, IoT, and then cloud architecture. Um, and then as well, currently an application systems manager for Mecoma Inc. I co-organize a couple of user groups with my friends Frank Clifford and others in Accra, which is Accra.net and Azure user group, the Accra Power Platform user group, and then the global AI chapter lead for Accra. And fun fact for those who know me, I like to drink a lot of beer. So yeah, that's a cool part. Like I mentioned, I run 3 shows every week, which is the IoT Tuesday, which is me just teaching and goofing about IoT on every Tuesday, and then we have the Mystified Tech, which is an extension of this show on Fridays that tries to break down technology to the barest minimum and how you can apply it to your business. And then there is the Power series that I do, which also seeks to break down Power platforms. So from Power Apps, Power Virtual Agent, now called Copilot Studio. So you'll be seeing a lot of Copilot Studio stuff on Sundays instead of, I'm trying to narrow that in. And that's my social. You can find me on almost all the social platforms, the same as a journey. You can get interactive with me. I have been in the tech space for probably 20 years now. I'm a Microsoft MVP on the Azure and IoT categories. I'm also a Microsoft certified trainer and a community lead. I'm also an ARM ambassador, a Hackster ambassador, and then other crazy, interesting stuff. Now, one thing I want us to take out is like building applications with LLMs, and that's what we're going to try to demystify in today's session. It's actually interesting, but there's a whole array of things surrounding it that we're trying to break today, so that there's a deeper and clear understanding of that. Um, Let me know. Uh, Elliot, let me know if you can see the chat so that you can. Okay, cool. So yeah, you can probably try to, if there's any question or stuff like that, you can just try to either respond or draw my attention to it so that I can focus on that. Hey, and yeah, all of you joining from ATU, thank you so much. Thank you. Keep sharing the live. We're going to be here for probably an hour and do stuff like that. All right, so let's set the tone, or let's set the scene for what we're going to be talking about, right? So for the next about 45 minutes or so, we're going to be exploring AI agent. We're going to be talking about core concept of what AI agents are. We're going to see what sets them apart from just LLMs. We're going to look at some architecture of things, and we're going to do a couple of demos to show you how to do it. And then if there's time, I'll go ahead and show you guys how to apply it into setting use cases that we have done. So this is the first use case. Now imagine this is just one use case. It doesn't necessarily mean the only use case that you can apply AI or agents to. No, this is just one use case. So let's say you're working for an e-commerce site, right, where you're selling a lot of camping equipment. Now, and you want to do some data analysis on it, or even present it to your customers as a way for them to interact, to understand what you have on your website. Traditional ways of interacting with websites is you going there, right, going to the website and then going to the catalog and trying to find out, okay, do they have something in store, what do they have there, you're going to look. That's the traditional way of doing it. However, the modern way and approach of adding value to your website is to add things like agent, right? Add agent to your website where people can have conversations or conversational agent with them. And today we'll be talking about a couple of things, including agent to agent or multi-agent setups, where you can have an agent that is able to tell your potential customers what products you have. You can have agent that can pull the information from CRM. You can have an agent that can place the order for them directly, an agent to send to send them authorization for payment. You think about it, right? But in this particular use case that we're going to do, Chieflos, okay. Yeah, I'll give you guidance, don't worry. Hey, we have Tiwa here. Hey Tiwa, how nice to join. We're seeing a couple of known faces, well, thank you for joining. So this is just one example of the use case. So setting the scene, we are an outdoor company and hiking equipment company, right? We sell online, and this could be your business. You could be selling you could be selling wigs, you could be selling perfumes, you could be selling clothes, you could be whatever you're selling, right? And you want to expose it. Now exposing it could be online, could be with WhatsApp, could be any platform, right? And that could be exposing it. Now, we want to use the power of AI to do some analysis on the sales data, right? And this is for you as a business owner. And like I mentioned, for your customers, you can use it to help them even kind of like compare and even buy products. That's it, or whether it can do a lot of things. And then we can see how to reimagine, the UI with a generative AI kind of like process as well. So you can use that. It could be you think about it, it could be just about any store, right? It could be just about any application that you're building. So let's set the scene well. So the question is, how do LLMs work? And if this is your first time you're hearing about LLMs, LLMs are what we call large language models. They have a sister or a brother called small language models, and these are like pre-trained data sets. Some of them go into the petabytes of huge data sets, right, that have been used to train them, so they can tell you information about whatever they've been trained on, right? So the rest, like ChatGPT, Cloud, and the rest, they are large language models, like DeepSeek and the rest are all large language models, right? They've been trained on billions, petabytes, whatever you think about it, the largest data set to understand, a lot of things that are happening. So that's the context. That's what they understand. Now, so at this point, traditional LLMs, right, would be, and remember, LLMs are only knowledgeable on the data set and information they are trained on, right? The data set of information they are trained on. So if they are trained up to, let's say, 2 years ago, anything that happened after, like in the past 2 years, the LLMs don't have any knowledge about it, unless of course they are pre-trained again with those happenings, and that's how they're going to have it, right? So at this point, we're probably thinking, okay, now how can LLM be useful for sales analysis? And like I mentioned, I would try to be very um, I'll try to provide a lot of examples as possible, because the notion would be that, oh, I can easily go into some LLM and just ask it a question, like I want to know if it doesn't know about your company data, if it doesn't know about your company sales information, it will not give you any valuable information, right? It will give you nothing interesting. So I'm going to go ahead and do let's see if we can do something similar with a very and I'm not going to open up. I want to share this. Let's see if we can bring this in view here for you guys to see, because I'm trying to uh, do them. Let's see if we can add screen share. Let's actually do entire window, right? So that I can, there we go. So at least you guys can see my screen. Solid. So this is your conventional. This is your ChatGPT. All right. This is your normal ChatGPT that you'd have. So if I go in there and ask a question, like for instance, um, uh, tell me the, or let's say analyze. Let's say analyze my sales data and give me the top performing regions, right? I just went into ChatGPT, pick the model, right? Now look at what it's doing. ChatGPT is telling me that, sure, please upload your sales data, Excel, CSV, or similar formats, and I'll analyze and identify the top performing regions for you once I have. So you realize that even though this is a large language model, right? ChatGPT is a large language model. However, it doesn't have context or doesn't have data on your company data. Remember, we are an e-commerce site, want to do analysis on our sales, right? ChatGPT doesn't know anything about it. It's the same concept. So then how can we tell ChatGPT, or how can we leverage ChatGPT to be able to do the analysis for us? First, begin by providing that context or that data set for ChatGPT as an LLM. And here, if you look closely, we are using. Hold on, let me get my Zoom it up so that I can zoom in and show you guys well. So here you'll notice that even within ChatGPT, right, we're leveraging the 4.0 model, right? And even that, it still doesn't understand or be able to do the analysis for me as I want, right? So take note about that. And that's why it's not just enough to use LLM for it. But before we actually understand this or get it properly, let's go back a little bit about how this whole I would say conversational bot and things started. Now, what you just saw me typing there was an utterance, right? Technically, it's an utterance. And what is an utterance? So, utterance is the way you converse or have a conversation with any agentic framework or a bot. This is traditional agentic conversations, right, with bots. So, for example, show me yesterday's finance news. That whole string is an utterance. Now, this utterance has multiple parts. Show me yesterday's financial news. Yesterday and financial are entities, which in the parlance of bot or agentic, you're saying this is entity extraction. It's trying to understand what is this person trying to say or ask me to do, right? And being able to extract the entities from the utterances determines, right, allows the bot or the agent to determine your intent, and is then able to map that intent to whatever function or whatever services it needs to call, right? And in this case, it's recognized that, oh, this person wants to call the show news intent. So show, there's a verb, and then now is what is news. Now this is what you would call natural language processing, right? And if you've been following the Microsoft ecosystem for some time now, this was something that Lois or Language Understanding Intelligence Services used to be, which is a cloud-based natural language process. Today, LLMs, now imagine, right? Imagine, the same, the same question here. That is the same question that we're asking. That I work at an e-commerce site selling cam gear, suggest how I can analyze sales data, right? Like we saw, ChatGPT is going to give you the same response that you need to upload the data for me to do the analysis for you. That's what ChatGPT is going to say. Now, imagine you have a complex utterance. Trying to break this down is going to be complicated, and that is where the LLMs come in. So the LLMs are kind of like playing a superset or a higher level of NLPs or natural language processing on steroids that is able to make meaning conversationally, even in bulk utterances, to understand, extract the intents, and know exactly what you mean and be able to respond to you and connect to it. And that is why it's important to combine LLMs with agents and other data sets to understand for it to learn a lot more. So here will be an example. This is a very, this is what you do today, like I just did in ChatGPT, the basic one, right? Where you just say, hey, I work at an e-commerce selling company here, suggest how I can best analyze sales data. And like we saw in that example, ChatGPT will tell you, well, to analyze your sales data effectively, consider using a combination of tools, right? Like, start with data analytics platform like Excel, blah, blah, blah. And you saw a similar response that ChatGPT gave us, right? What we call this immediately. So that is why just using LLMs on their own is not enough. But now comes in leveraging agents, right? So what are agents? Now, there are a lot of definitions to what agents are, but I'll keep it simple, right? So what differentiates AI conversations and agent is that there are many definitions of what an agent is, but you simply put, you can say agent are what we call semi-autonomous software. It's semi-autonomous because it has some instructions that you invoke it to perform, right? And they can be given goals and will work to achieve that goal, right? Without technically knowing in advance exactly how it's going to do that step. But it's going to leverage LLM to perform that step, right? So that is what agents are. Now, agents try to accomplish these three things, right? First of all, agents will try to reason over a provided business process. That's one. And then two, agents will retrieve context to complete the process. And the third one, agent to perform an action for the end user. So reasoning over the business process or data. And that's why, reasoning over the business information you're giving it, right? And the second part is retrieve the context to understand what exactly you want. And then thirdly, to perform an action on the user's behalf, right? So in short, an LLM agent is basically a framework that sits above one or more models, right? So it sits above one or more models and allows you to perform complex running logic or tasks on behalf of a user in an autonomous way. So how, understanding what agents are now, then the question now is, how can an agent help, right? So the use case is we can set up prompts to help build an agent, right? So you can build an agent, and then rather than just interacting with just pre-trained LLM, like I explained, right? You can use that, build it, tell it, hey, leveraging this context, let's do this, right? So how can we leverage, the agent in addition to LLMs to do this? That's exactly what we're going to do. So we're going to see how to build a demo sales agent, right? Built on Chainlit, Azure AI Service. Then we're going to use that. But the process will be build it, give it some instructions, and allow it, ask us things about it for us to help us to do one or two things. So that's what we're going to do. Now, first of all, let's understand how this agent we're going to use. Now, based on what we're going to do, it's going to be like do some dynamic SQL generation, because we are going to ask you to query, right? And this is going to be connected to a SQLite database, and this is just an example. It could be a Postgres, or it could be one of these vector search tables or databases. It could be any data source, and you could have an agent be able to connect to. Because let's face fact, as your business grows, your business is not technically in the public domain. I mean, your business analysis data is not in the public domain. It's within your environment, either sitting in some database, sitting in some data store, something like that. So you are going to use tools to connect with and build, right? So there's going to be natural language processing by the large language model, dynamic SQL generation, some orchestration and integration, right? So it's going to read data, from your data source and do some work on it. So the example we're going to look at on how that assistant works is, leveraging Chainlit and then the Azure, AI Factory agent service. However, there are a lot of frameworks, right? There are a lot of frameworks that can help you to build an agent, and these are some of them, like Semantic Kernel, AutoGen, LangChain, QAI, Chainlit, right? These are tools that allow you to build your own agent. Now, but why are we preferring to use Azure AI Foundry agent service over that? Well, let me walk you through that. So Azure AI agent service, which is, a service in Azure AI Foundry, it helps you to rapidly develop because it has extensive, SDKs or APIs. It has extensive data connectivity to different kinds of data sets. Has a flexible model selection. You can use either, models already in the catalogs or bring your own model, and it's enterprise-based security ready, right? So let's step back a bit, right? And then to understand on the higher level what Azure AI Foundry is. So Azure AI Foundry, basically, as you can see, is a whole ecosystem or framework, right? Or a whole platform of services that connect from Copilot Studio, Visual Studio Code, GitHub, and then even the Azure AI Foundry SDKs that allow you to develop connected to the entire structure of it. On top of it are your model catalogs, right? And this could be foundational models like GPT, all the common models in there, or open source models like DeepSeek, Manus, and all the other ones. Or it could be task-based models or even industry models, your own trained models, right? Now, these models are sitting on top of services, the Azure AI services like Azure OpenAI service, Azure Search, and then you can see that in there, it is the Azure AI agent service, which all these, models can leverage. And then you have the Azure AI security, content safety, which is very important for responsible and safe AI development. And then you have the Azure machine learning, right, which allows you to build your own data set as well to build machine learning. Now, all this is on a layer of is an observability layer, which deals with evaluating the models, customizations of your agent, governance, and monitoring, all in one package. So you see that the Azure AI Foundry provides you an easy and all-rounded ecosystem for you to build. So if you if we just zoom into the Azure AI agent service, which is what we'll be leveraging, this is what it looks like, right? So it has all the built-in enterprise ready from bring your own file storage, bring your own search index, bring your own authorization, enhance observability, connected to extensive ecosystem of tools. So if you have your data in Microsoft Fabric, you have your data in SharePoint, Bing Search, you can use Azure AI Search, you can have your own license from an API somewhere. You have files like in your local machine or Azure Blob, there's a file search, code interpreter. And then you can even leverage other tools like Azure Logic Apps, OpenAI functions, and all that. And this allows you to connect to your model catalog. So from OpenAPI or Model as a Service, whether I want to use Llama, Mistral, Cohere, any of the models. That is why we're choosing to use Azure Agent Service over all the other third parties. So the solution we're going to build for our Contoso sales agents, right? This is the solution we're going to build for our sales agents. So the architecture for it, on the top of it, I'm going to use raw Visual Studio Code to build it first. And then I will go ahead and use Chainlit to build the UI so that you can see the UI side of it. So we're going to use Chainlit, right? And then we're going to use a query function that allows you to generate dynamic queries on the fly, leveraging LLMs. And then sitting on top of that, we're going to use the Azure AI agent services. So choosing the model, right? So the model we're going to use and the instructions that we're going to give to this AI agent service to perform. And then it will be exposed to actions like function calling, which will be, hey, anytime you want to perform a query, call this function. And it's going to be code interpreter. I want you to do something, use LLM to interpret what I'm trying to do and generate the code to perform that action. If there's time, we'll look at document search and then grounding with Basic. But ideally, by the time we do the function calling, interpret, and then file search, you will realize that the power of it is. So this is how we're going to look at it like. So the steps is going to be create an agent, right? We're going to create an agent, right? And then we'll create a thread. The agent will create a thread, right? And the thread is kind of like the session. So the thread is the conversation, right? The thread is the AI conversation session between an AI assistant and the user. So when you start to have a conversation, it's called a thread. And the thread stores the messages, and it automatically handles truncation, content model. That's all it is, right? Then, so once the agent is created, thread is created, you run the agent, you can check the run status, and then you can display the agent response. That's the cycle that ideally conversations with the agent go through. So as you can see, in this case, we're building the agent, which is called the Contoso Sales Agent. And then we give it a set of instructions. Hey, you are an advanced sales analyst agent, Contoso, specializing in A, B, C, and D. I'm asking you blah, 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 right? Now, and I'm telling that, hey, this is the instructions for you as an agent. And you get to understand that. That is why it's important to understand and give a persona or instructions on how your agent is supposed to, function. And then you choose a model. Remember, when we talk about utterances, so in this case, your large language model or small language model or distilled language model is what is going to be used, right, as the intermediary or the model to be able to do that entity instruction in the natural language processing understanding of the input you are giving to the agent. And then the model is going to take this, sitting on top of your data, right, whether it is Azure Search, it is file, it's PDF, whatever, exposed to tools, right? And tools could be file searching, code interpreting, function calling, Bing search, SharePoint, wherever the data is, it would work on it. And this would establish the thread and then give you the user messages, right? And once that response comes, so a cycle is calling it, the thread is formed, doing the processes, giving you the response. It creates the response and sends it back to the user. So this is the cycle of how the AI works. So far, are you with me? Right? All right. We're going to get into the hands-on taking. I just want to be sure you are with me. It's not getting crazy yet, but stick with me. So, and then you can create another thread, as part of a thread again. Say, hey, now I want you to show me like a pie chart, and then it's going to go ahead so a couple of things. There are two examples showing here. In this first example, the user said, tell me the total sales by region, right? How is the LLM? The LLM doesn't know the total sales, right? The LLM doesn't know the total sales. But by virtue of using function calling, it's able to query your data store, where your data is, right? It's able to use function calling tool to call your data store, which is query the database. And the thing is, it is doing dynamic data generation. It doesn't know what question you're going to ask, but it's been instructed to say that, hey, anytime I get a query, use this instruction to dynamically generate a SQL statement and then run that SQL statement against my database, get the information and return it to the user. And that's what you're seeing here, right? Here's the sales, Europe, right? Then, so tell me the total sales by region. Then the second one is now saying, show me the result as a pie chart, right? Show me the result as a pie chart. And then this time around, you use what we call code interpreter 2, because you're seeing a pie chart. Now it's going to use a code interpreter to say, hey, This code interpreter tool, which is in Azure AI services, right? Agent services, will take what you want, pie chart, pie chart, pie chart. Oh, how can I create a pie chart? Okay, I'm going to get the data. I'm going to call the function to query the data. I have the data. Now, how do I create a pie chart? Now, this is like going to ChatGPT and say, hey, this is my data. How can I create a pie chart? All right. Let's try this. So I want you guys to really understand what I'm trying to point at, to understand why we are using the LLMs and all that, right? So let me bring this here because I want to use this example, all right, to show you that is why we are leveraging. So let's say you see this example here. We're going to skip the tell me the total sales because as of now, ChatGPT doesn't know our total sales, right? ChatGPT doesn't know our total sales. But let's say that, let's say here, let's use the response from here. Let's say here is some sales, right? Data. I'm going to do this and I'll say Europe will do 1547800, and then we'll do America, we'll do 7879200, right? And then let's do Africa, let's do 255,326.89. Okay. So if I say, here is some data, now I'm just going to now say that show me this data as a pie chart. Now watch this. I just told ChatGPT to do this, and look at what ChatGPT is doing. It's analyzing it. Bear in mind. Now, see this? Automatically, ChatGPT is able to render this into a pie chart, right? How did it do that? It's because ChatGPT, the model itself, has got capabilities to do code interpretation, to say that, oh, this person has some data and wants to convert this data into a pie chart. Now, let me go through my LLM skills. How do I create a pie chart? Giving it, and then it will do that for you, right? And this is called coding. But with our agent, first of all, we need to have the agent to be able to even get the data from our SQL. And then with that, do the code interpretation to be able to generate it for us. So I hope you're getting the concept, right? And that's a similar thing we're going to do. But however, we're going to build an agent to be able to provide us with our own sales data. And then we can also leverage some of the other tools like code interpretation, document search, and all that to complete it, right? So let's understand function calls a bit more. So like I say, function call is it's part of the Azure AI agent services, right? Now it's a capability of the LLMs to take in a user-defined function, right, as an input and generate structured output. So a function could be, just like you saw in the example, a function could be run a SQL query. A function could be connect to my school database and give me my grades for last semester. A function could be connect to weather API and then give me the weather for where I am right now. Or it could be connect to some trip planning website and plan a trip for me, right? But this is all user defined. You are defining this function and then now providing this ability for LLM to tap into this function to do some work for you as an agent, right? So if the LLM detects the conversation that would satisfy the function, it will get the structure and then provide you that result, right? So function calling, primarily, this is an example of that. So you can see here the instructions you are giving to your agent to say, hey, you are a sales analysis agent for Contoso. You get all the sales data from this app using a function provided, and it says that use a database and provided the schema for it. So here, this is an example in Python, but we're going to do ours in C#. I'm going to show you how to do that. And you can see that here there's an instruction. This function is used to answer user questions about Contoso sales data, right? By executing SQL queries against the database, and the parameter is in the query, right? The input should be a well-formed SQLite query to extract. So this information is coming from what the person is going to type in there. So yeah, there's a question here that says, let's show this. It says that, this from Henry Entry, says, how is this different from RAG, retrieval augmented generation? Please, since it's trying to retrieve data. It is the same thing, right? Now, it's similar. I shouldn't say same, it's similar. Now, RAG is giving context. Is the same thing, right? RAG is giving context. Now, function calling and RAG is the difference is that with RAG, you're saying that, hey, this is my data set, right? So if somebody is asking you information about the shoes we have in stock, use this data set to answer that question. Because by definition, the large language model will not have the shoes we have in stock at the moment. Does that make sense? So Henry, so RAG is basically saying that, hey, now if anybody asks you a question about the shoes we have in stock, use this data. So RAG is context, right? RAG is not a function. RAG is just telling you that, hey, this is more information. This is more up-to-date information of the shoes we currently have in stock. So if somebody wants to say, hey, what are the shoes we have in stock? Use this data set to answer that question. That is just RAG. Function calling is now defining. Now, if you're saying that maybe what is the discount on it, right? And maybe you have a function, you have a way of calculating discount depending on the customer who is asking for. That is not something you can just point to a database for. There needs to be a business process or business algorithm that should run. Oh, how long has this person been a customer? How many things has a person bought in the year? What discount has a person qualify for? That would be like some logic that you have in some API, right? That you now say, hey, LLM, if somebody wants to get a customized or personalized discount, use this function to calculate it. Does it make sense, Henry? Maybe just give me a thumbs up or something else, and then I'll just say that. So that's the difference between function calling but the concept is just giving it more context and data. All right. And then with that said, the user will now put something together to say that, hey, what were the sales for April 2023? This is just a basic user question. But because there's a function that allows querying the database, the LLM is now going to translate this simple question from the person to say that what were the sales for April 2023 into a query, right? And this will be the parameter. Select revenue from sales where month equals 4, which is April, and year equals 2023. Because there's a function that does dynamic query generation using the input from a user, and the LLM converts that into a query, and that is run to the function. Does that make sense? Awesome, super. So now, first of all, there are a couple of demos I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you cool demos. So once I end this slide, I'll come back to it, but again, so we're going to do the first demo, which is function calling to do the dynamic SQL generation, and then I'll do the second demo, which is code interpreter, and I'll try to do the third demo as well for us, and then if there's time, we'll do the ping. But I want to do the demos and jump to another section. So let's do this. Where is my Visual Studio Code? It looks like I'll have to bring it here. All right, so I'm going to share the code base with how to get started. So there are two ways you can get started to building this, your own agent. The first part is to either to use as a Python SDK or there's a C# SDK. But the two parts to do is if you don't have like a Visual Studio locally on your machine, you can use what we call the GitHub code spaces. But what you need is that also, Henry. Great, Henry. Okay, that's good. That's good. So you're going to need an Azure subscription. You're going to need to set up the Azure AI Hub AI service, OpenAI service with an AI Hub and a project to allow you to do that. So first of all, I'm going to walk you through. I'm going to share the workshop guide, right? You can go through the workshop guide and do this on your own, but I'm going to follow. I'm going to just walk through this, but I'll share the workshop guide so that if you need it, the workshop guide is about almost 7 to 8 minutes. So let me put this here. This is let me put the guide here. And I'm going to share the guide. So the guide should be showing on your screen right now. So this is where you have, the workshop. That's like the step by step on how to do it, right? The step by step on how to build. I'm going to walk you through that myself. So to get a code, let's see. So the code base, like I said, the two part, and those that are going to be coming to build, there's a whole workshop for you to do. But like I said, you're going to need a GitHub account and create a free Azure account, right? Um, the first part, like I said, is to use code spaces, GitHub code spaces, right? So you can, if you want to use GitHub code spaces, you can copy. Let me get the link here. Let me bring this, since we are using this screen as well. So for now, we can end this. So you can go to, and it's part of the link is there. So the code spaces here, so you can create a code spaces, and the code space is just like a dev container that will be spin up, that has all the information, all the like libraries, environments properly set up for you to use. So, and then it will also fork the base application. So in this case, it's going to fork the Python application and set up an environment for you to be able to run the code in its own environment. All right, before you try to do anything. I decided to go for, that's one part. Either you go for the GitHub code spaces, or you go for a local development. And I usually like to go for local development. So for local development, you need to have Docker, right? So you need to have Docker running. So Docker Desktop is free to download. So I have Docker running, and then now I can now create my dev containerized environment in a Docker environment and develop this. So I have gone ahead to, instead of cloning it into dev spaces, right? Instead of cloning it into dev spaces, I have cloned it into my Docker dev spaces. So it's not living on GitHub, but it's living on my, how do you call it? It's living on my Docker for desktop, okay? So it'll be, is a bunch of spinning up code spaces or your Docker environment, your Visual Studio code, cloning the repository. And once you clone the repository, you need to have an Azure account, right? So you need to have an Azure account, create an Azure account, and then you can create a project. So let's walk through that. So I'm going to bring that also here, since I'm using the screen too. Are the things on the screen visible, or do I need to increase them a bit? Kindly let me know so that I can make them a little bigger for you guys. Yeah, just a note or something would help. Okay, so I have my Seasons of AI resource group. So for the sakes of time, I have pre-created some of these things in there for you. So you can see you need to create an AI project, Azure AI project, that intent creates, and you have to create an AI hub, choose your model. I'll show you how to do that. I'll show you how to do that as well, right? But you need to have an Azure. You can try Azure for free. I'll share some resources as well. So if you go to ai.azure.com, it will bring you to the Azure AI Foundry, right? On the surface, this is how the AI Foundry looks like. It used to be called Azure AI Studio, but the name was changed to Azure AI Foundry. Now, so in AI Foundry, you can go ahead and create a project. And then when you create a project, it would open up that project spaces for you. And then whilst you're in your project, you get the opportunity to choose the models, right? the models you want to use for your project. Now, once you pick the project, they have a, okay, let's increase this a bit. They have a, so once you create a project, you now be able to see the model catalog, right? And you can see from Mistral to there are a lot of it, from DeepSeek, a lot of models here, right? So you can select the models. You can actually try the models. I can see DeepSeek, O3 Mini, a lot of models, right? Yeah, is it okay now? I think I did another increase. Or do I still do that? Still invisible. Okay, let's go a few more. How is this now? Does it look, is it better now? Okay, if you can just let me know in there so we can proceed. Okay. Okay, thank you. All right, solid. So these are a lot of models you can test out, right? A lot of them, different ones you can test out. So once you create your AI solution, right, you can also use the playground. And the playground here is for you to test all the services. So like if you want to test the agent playground, if you want to build an agent and you want to test it, you can. If you want to do an audio, you're building a low latency audio agent. You are doing something that does image, something that does healthcare, language, speech, translation, a lot. You can test all of them here, right? So what you do is that you can say that I want to try the chat playground. If I do the chat playground, it would ask me to select um, a model. You see that we have deployed GPT-4. I've done two deployments. There's GPT-4, two GPT-4 deployments, right? So with this deployment, I can go ahead, give it some instructions and ask it something, right? I can use even just, and this is just by virtue of selecting a model and deploying it, and then say, hey, this is an example. Invent a recipe for a dish that combines flavor from two different cuisines in West Africa, right? This is just basically just deploying a large language model and then asking it, asking asking it a question, all right? And look at this. From the question we asked, it just went ahead to say, yeah, it just says for jollof rice is the first one, for yassa chicken, and then some from garnishing, right? And this is just deploying a large language model and testing it and asking it questions, not adding any functionalities to it, right? Now, aside that, you can build the customizations by using agents, and that is what we are building today. See that you can use the portal to also build it, but I haven't built it yet. If you want to do that, you can use the Seasons of AI demo. I have an agent already, but I'll show you how to, well, that's what I'm going to show you in code. And then you can do fine tuning, and you can now do a lot of things, right? So even from the portal, you can go ahead to the manage center, and then you can do connected resources. As you can see, these are the connected resources so far. There's an Azure AI search, there is an OpenAI, there's a block storage that stores data. So here I can go ahead and add a new connection. And guess what? You see, this connection could be a serverless model, it could be a vision AI, it could be a data from Fabric, from Bing, it could be a custom API from some third-party service. So I can connect all these things to it, and now my agent will be able to do function calling to do that, right? So, but right now we're not going to do this in the portal. We're going to walk through this in code, all right? So you need to make sure you have, and that's what I'm saying. So first thing you need to do is you need to make sure you have a project. You need to create an Azure AI Foundry project, which we've done. Once you've created a project, you need to deploy a model, right? And we are deploying for the sake of this, for the sake of our, how do you call it, for our session, we have deployed the ChatGPT 4.0 model. You can deploy any model you want. So remember, your agent needs to have instructions and a model. So the model is just helping it to do the natural language processing or be able to interact with the user and understand what the user is saying and pass it on to your functions and stuff like that. So you need to create this. Now, once you create this, then what you're going to do is that, I think we can close this for now. Then what you're going to do is that now you're going to use the SDK. I'm first of all going with the, I'm first of all going with a developer approach this way. So once you've created it, right, you can now go ahead and create your application, right? Create the application leveraging right, as of now you can use Python, you can use C#, right? So this one I'm showing right now is a C# version. So I'm using the Azure AI Pro, using Azure and Azure AI Pro. So I'm getting the SDKs, right? And the SDKs are there for us to use. I'm going to explain this code base. So primarily, this is just a .NET project, right? And we're building the agent workshop. And remember, we mentioned that you need to have a model, and then you need to have the instructions, right? These are the two things you need to be able to build your agent. And leveraging the Azure AI Agent SDK. Okay, that's exactly what we have done. So remember, you need to have that in your portal. Okay, now, so this is how it's broken into. You have your program, and this is the base. This is the simplest way your program is set up, right? So if you've done, those who have done .NET stuff or C# stuff, it's kind of like the basics of it. You're doing a deployment, right? And there are certain configurations that I had to set up, like the connection string to the project, how to interact with the project. I've done that, and that here you go. So this allows it configuration. This allows you to get the connection string of our service, right? The Azure Foundry project we created. The connection string, you're able to connect it to the service, and then now we can use it to deploy, create a deployment, create tools and stuff like that. Then to perform all the services that it has, we're going to start with, there's a base lab method here, right? Class here. So as you can see, getting the parts, being able to get the sales data, the model name, it creates an agent, right? And then remember we talked about the thread, able to create a thread and also create an agent. So the agent client is part of the SDK that allows you to create an agent dynamically or programmatically, and then allows this to create an agent and connect to the model and then use it. So this is just the base, and it's setting some priorities. Now, you know that anytime you're interacting with an AI model, you deal with tokens, right? You deal with tokens. And so you set so by default, the first lab class is just setting parameters. Now, this is something to watch out for. So you see here, initialize tools. So all the functionalities that this agent is going to do is classified as tools. And then this is how we are setting it up to say that, hey, at this point, all you do is that, in this case, the first one is fetch sales data, right? So by default, because all the other tools are inheriting from this, it would always call the fetch sales data tool or call, right, to get the data and then proceed to do stuff. So what you're seeing here is a bunch of, you see, helper functions that tells us whether the agents are created, things are connected to. So this is just the base of it. So remember, this is allowing us to connect to our Azure Foundry AI project. And then these are the various labs or the demos we're going to do, the ones that is doing the function calling. And I have a surprise for you. It's not part of the project, but just to illustrate and for you to understand, I had to do that for you to understand. And the program here is where you initialize the program to run based on what lab you want to run. And then here we have the sales data. So this is kind of like a class that allows you to connect. If you go down here, you can see there's database, and there's a Contoso sales database, a SQLite database. So this sales data is just a bunch of helper classes that allows you to connect to this database locally and then call it. And then there is a data sheet. And here, this is a SQL, this is a PDF file that contains more information about, and this is where you will say RAG, right? This is where you say RAG. They're just giving it, hey, this is more information. So if somebody's asking for a particular product and it's not in the LLM, you can find it here, right? This is how you do that. And then they have, remember, instructions. So these are the instructions we're going to walk through where we are. So we're going to start with the first one, which is the function calling, right? So we know that this sets us up to call the services. And the first one is just function calling, right? So here, this lab is saying, hey, when I just want to start and call what? Do the function calling instruction file. And you already have access to the model, which you're going to use, and use the instructions in this file to run the agent. Now, let's go to that instruction file and see what is in the function calling instruction file, right? And look at this. This is just a pure markdown, right? It's a pure markdown. It says, well, this is your role, right? Your role, you are a sales analysis agent for Contoso, a retailer of outdoor camping and sporting gear. What you do is you help users by answering sales-related questions using a polite, professional, and friendly tone. So we're giving the agent instructions on how to respond to people, all right? Now, use only verified data sources, which include the Contoso sales database, right? Which is a tool, which is a function calling there. Do not generate unverified content. So you see it now. So that's the rule. The second one is the tools. See, the first tool is sales data tool. It's a sales data tool. Use only the Contoso sales database via the provided tool, which is called what? Fetch sales data using SQLite. Do you remember this? Let's come here. Who remembers this? You see that? Fetch sales data. Fetch sales data, right? So that's it. So we are giving it instructions and telling it, hey, this is the tool. Can we get the slides? I'll have to check with NDA first before if I can. I'll probably take a few things out. If some things on the NDA I need to do, but else I can filter that and send that. Now, so you see, so the instructions are telling it, this is it. This is what you do. This is the information. These are the calls, right? Now, the query construction, see it? Default the aggregation. It says what? Default to aggregation. So if the person doesn't specify any specific aggregator like sum, average, count, default to aggregation unless the user requests details return aggregation. You see that? The sales is equal to revenue. Treat sales and revenue as synonymous for revenue column. So if somebody says sales, it's the same as revenue. If they say revenue, it's the same as sales. Row limit, always include a limit of 30 in every query. Never return more than. So you see, we're giving a detailed instruction for this agent. So you can go as detailed as you want. And this will be used. It's like giving a persona. And that is how some of you don't understand how to use ChatGPT and the rest. You can give the same instruction to ChatGPT depending on what data you fed it. And it's going to follow this same instruction, right? And then here it says that what? Schema adherence. Use only valid table and column names from the schema. Double check accuracy. No full table dumps. Never return all the rows on the table. And then it comes to response formatting and localization. Tabular data. Format all multi-row results into a markdown table with clear headers. Now look at this. This is a part that I like a lot. Language. Respond in the user's requested or inferred language. English, Chinese, French, whatever. Translate. Now look at this. Translate both data and what? Explanations. And then if there's a download request, if the user asks to download data, states that CSV format is available and present the data options. And then you can see content and clarification. There's conduct and safety protocols. I'm here to like hostile or upset users. Respond calmly and redirect exactly. And it says,
For example, I'm here to help you with the sales data inquiries. For additional support, it says that unclear of it. So you see, and remember, always follow these instructions precisely. So 2 things. We've given it this instructions file, okay? And we've given it access to the Azure AI agent service SDK to use the model we've defined to create an agent, start a thread, and do a conversation, right? So let's try the first one. Let's go ahead and try the first one here. So let's do the function calling. So the function calling, we've seen the instructions, we've seen the lab, right? So what I'm going to do is I want to do the lab one. Lab is just like an interface with all that. So we go to program, and this is just like running any .NET application, right? So I'll save this, and you can go ahead and build this, but I can go ahead and just run. Now, check what's going to happen. I hope you can see clearly in there. Okay, do you see what's going on? So now, let me actually move this all the way here just so we can make way for, so you can see. So now it has created an agent in the command line. So we have a live agent in the command line now. So you see that it's created an agent, and this is the agent ID. And it started a thread. So the thread is the conversation we're going to have. So the agent is waiting for us to have a conversation. Remember some of the things we talked about. I have a list of queries I want to ask here. So I'm going to bring them here so that, so here, if I do, now I'm going to do something very interesting that I'm sure a lot of you would enjoy. So look at this. I only said help. And then what did it say? Certainly, I'm here to assist you with Contoso sales data. You can ask more questions like, what are the sales by region? What was the last quarter's revenue? Which products sold by Eastern Europe? What are the total ship costs for region? All right. Now, the shocker for you. All right. Watch this. If I say help in, okay, how many let's do local. If you are joining us and you are not from Ghana, please comment where you are joining from and the language you speak. But I'm going to take it that because of the people that responded to me, I see a lot of them are from Ghana. So I'm going to use a couple of Ghanaian languages to see if this is going to work, because we've trained it on GPT 4.0, right? But if you are joining us from another country, please send a chat, maybe Nigeria in your language or something. So now look at this. If I say help in tree, check this out. By virtue of just using the LLM, so this is the advantage of using the LLM on top of your data set. All right. So take a look at this. I said help in tree. It said what? Me paucho me hu wo ha senia me bua wo Contoso hu insem efa one. I mean, and it's just repeating this. I'm here to assist you, and then this is the thing, like, so this is just saying that. So the first one, what are the sales by region? Ehana waton in Niama P. Like, which sales by, you see, Ehina waton in Niama P. And Ehina waton in Niama P. Now, let's say this. Now, if I say what sales, and look at this. So I'm going to paste this here. What are the sales by region? And I say respond in Ewe. And look at this. Now, you see what it did? First of all, it called the function fetch sales data, because I'm asking for the sales, right? I'm asking for the sales by region. So it called the function, go and fetch the data, and look at what it did. It generated this SQL. And you see that because I didn't specify any aggregation, by default, you use the sum. And you see, sales data group by region. And then look at what it did. Here are the sales by region. Look at this. Aqua. You see, and this it responded. It responded in what? In error, because I asked it to respond in error. That is the advantage you get for using the LLM on top of your having your agent use the LLM. So imagine if you have another service, which is, let's say, text to speech or synthesizers, right? This can be speaking a word to someone who doesn't. So you could build an application for business analysis for someone who can't speak English. It will, once a person is able to connect the data, it will be able to do it. Yes, yeah. So I know, yeah. I also noticed that. All right, we can ask again. Like, we can ask the second question again. Let's do this. I'm going to ask a question here, and I will say, respond in Hausa. I hope I hope I hope. Okay. Well, nagode inda kanide wasu tambayo yika sandani. But I don't speak Hausa, guys, so I don't speak Hausa. But imagine this. Now, look, we didn't pre-train anything to speak any language, but it's just because we're having that benefit from a different language, right? So this here, what you're seeing right now, is function calling. It is calling into this function, right? It's calling into the function, and then it is responding to us, right? And you can debug this to see how that is happening, right? Let's see if I can. I'm going to stop this. And then I'm going to run this again in debug mode, all right? And then I'll go and put a breakpoint. This is going to be lab 1. Let's bring this here. No, actually, so this is going to be sales data. So here, public sales data, get database info. Let's see. Okay, there we go. Yeah, so I'm going to put a breakpoint here, all right? And then this time around, I'm going to run it in debug mode, okay? And once it runs, what's going to happen is that as soon as I just want to prove to you that it's calling into your code. And that's what I'm saying. This code can be something business specific, calling to an API. You can define it. And all these things will become tools, right? Now, remember this very carefully, because I'll come back and talk about something. But all this is going to create tools. All this is going to create tools, all right? So let's do this. So now, if I go ahead again and probably specify the same thing, what are the top 5 products in sales? Look at what's going to happen. Once it picks it up, you see it's hit the breakpoint. It knows that I need to call this tool. I need to call this function. Right? Yes, I saw that. It responded in 3, and then only that was here. But again, so these are kind of the things that you can fine tune to, but at least I've seen that the Hausa was okay, and I think the 3 was okay. But yeah, but that's a good catch. I also saw that. But you see, it's called into the tool. So this is just, as a developer, I can define any of your calls, your functions, and all that, different tools. All right. We can just go here, and then we'll go ahead, call it. As you can see, generate the response in the table, and then it gets back, to you. So that is function calling. And let me get rid of this breakpoint for now. All right. So that is very simple function calling. Okay. So this is how you will leverage function calling to call into. Somebody says it's blurry on the side. Maybe it's your connectivity. So the stream is using adaptive bit rate. So if your connection is a bit laggy, you might see it a bit blurry. Sorry about that, but it would correct or adjust itself once the connectivity gets right. Now, at this point, okay, if we run this again, now I'm going to go to the next demo, right? Which is grounding with the document. All right. Remember we said that, and that is where this is what you might be calling you are doing some kind of RAG. All right. You're doing some kind of RAG. Now, if I go ahead and do this, by default, let's see what we get. Do you see what happened? It says that what brands it says that Contoso sales database does not include information, right, about specific brands. It only contains data on the product category types and sales metric. For example, we can analyze sales data for backpacking tents, family camping, right? So which means at this point, your agent doesn't know or have information about the brands. And this is where we talk about grounding with your document, or what you might want to say RAG, right? Right, retrieval augmented generation, which means, hey, if there's something, go and retrieve this data, add it to your LLM response and return it to me. So how do we fix this? Remember, I shared with you that if you go into the data sets and you go into you see here, there is, let's exit from here so that the thread in the session will close. So you see here, these are what? Expanded tent product data sheet. Oh, welcome, Emmanuel. You missed a bit, but you can catch it up on demand. So here, guys, here. So you see that there's a product name, there's a category, there's a product type, there's a brand. You see? So now we have this information in an Excel file. How can we now add this tool or functionality to our agent to be able to respond to it? Again, we can do that. So in this case, we're going to do the grounding with document, or you can say search. In our case, we are using, how do you call it? In our case, we're going to use this PDF, right? So to show how to do that, we have the second lab, which is, you see, file search. And again, you see the instructions. So it is just telling us, hey, this is where you can get the file using a vector store. So vectorize the PDF document and then use that. Now let's go and look at the file search instructions. So here, the file search instruction says that what? Again, you're a Contoso sales agent. You see that the tools are available. Now look at it. You see, A is a sales data tool, which is what fetches the data. So you're just updating it. Now B, there's another tool, product information search tool. Use the Contoso product information vector store to search uploaded product data when users ask for product details. And you see the two, search product information, vector store. So if you go back to this, you see, Contoso product information vector store. So you see, you have a tool that allows you to search. So now, again, we are saying that, hey, anytime someone is asking a question and we don't have that information and we seem to have some files, use this tool to do that. So let's go to program. Let's change and say, hey, now we want to do some searching. So I'm just going to update this to use lab 2. And then again, now remember, we asked the question, what brands of tents do you have? And it told us that it didn't have, you see, it says that the Contoso sales database does not include information about it. This is what it told us, right? So let's go ahead. And then let's run this again by now including the search tool. So now we've included a search tool. I know, before you start saying, so why is it that the agents are saying, don't worry, I will crown it with the icing on the cake where you can build beautiful UIs for your agent with a different mode. So here, it's created a vector store, it's loaded it. So now, let's go ahead and ask the same question. What brands of tents do we sell? And let's look, now that it has some context and it's able to search, do you see that? It tells us for outdoor living, we have Travel Master, Skyview, Alpine Gear, we have this. That is an example of using file searching. Now, this is not, this is an example where it's loading the file before that, but ideally, I showed you in the Azure Foundry portal that you can go ahead and connect all your file sources. Could be a website, PDF. You can add all that once, and it will use the Azure Search service or vectorize everything and then add it to your AI model, so that once the AI is running, we'll have access to that information. So that is grounding it with your what? Your data. That is a very important, example with that. Now, at this point, right, our agent, if I say our agent doesn't have the ability to create, how do you call it, visuals, right? So, for instance, in the same way, if I go ahead and say show sales by region as a pie chart, if I do this, let's see what it says. Well, it gets the information. It does it. Now you see that, it's gotten the information all right, but it says that I recommend using a visualizing tool like what? Excel or Google Sheet to create a pie. Let me know if you like to have the data in a downloadable format. So as it stands now, right, it's able to retrieve it, but it's not able to interpret what I mean by what? Using what? Creating it in a pie chart. You realize that for ChatGPT, when we started and said, hey, put it in a pie chart, it was able to understand because that is enabled by default, right? What we call code interpretation is enabled by default in ChatGPT. But in our model, that is not enabled, all right? Now, I could go ahead and enable it or directly do it in code. Now, let me show you something. You can enable it directly on this. So if we go to our agent, let me see if I can change. Let me see. Let me go with the agent here. No, I don't want to. If I do this, it's going to change what we're doing. But then you can set this up in the portal. It's just a toggle, right? But let's do that in the code. I'll show that in code. So what I'll do is now, let's go back and fix this. So again, so this would be, let's use this. So look at this. To enable code interpreter, you just need to call, this is a tool. This is a code. It is by default within the Azure. You see, Azure AI Agent Service provides this tool for you out of the box. You just need to enable it. But then you can also add more instructions to it, right? And the same thing this time, again, sales, this thing persists. So now you have sales data tool, you have the product information search, and now you have a visualizing and code interpreter tool, right? You have a visualizing and code interpreter tool, which you can use. And you see that it says always test the display, blah, 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 response in a tabular, either respond the person's language or download response. So it's just the same, but then you are building up on the tools that are available. So let's quickly go there and change this to lab 3, which will be the code interpreter. So it's now our agent has what? 3 tools. Okay, our agent has 3 tools. So we'll save this, we'll run again, and then we'll ask it the same question we did. And this time, we'll see that it would respond with allowing us to download it. So you see, let's go ahead and ask the same question we did. Show sales by region as a pie chart. So first off, it will use the function calling, execute the query, get the data, and then it's processing it. Data will come out, and then you see, okay, something, server error. I think we have to do this again. Maybe there's a connectivity issue. Let's try this again. Okay, it's fetching it, processing it. It'll probably give me this. Okay, there you go. So you see, it's created it and giving me a pie chart as in a downloadable form. So now look at that. You see it. So now it's able to generate it because we've given it a tool that allows it to do, how do you call it? That allows us to do visualization. All right. Time check. Wow, we've done 1 hour 35 minutes. Well, that's interesting. This is the thing. You get so carried away by sessions like this. Okay, so let me quickly now the bonus, right? So I've shown you how to do all these things. Now, imagine if I want to get notification or I want to get an SMS, right, about, let's say, the how do you call it, about the total sales, right, or the top sales, the top selling region, right? Now, what I did was to create a new tool and add it. Now, so I created adding a tool using Hoptel. So for those of us in Ghana, I use the Hoptel API. So it's just, like I said, just programming. So Hoptel API created a function that allows you to send SMSs using Hoptel. I put the keys in an environmental variable so I don't share it. But now I expose that ability to send SMS notification, right? Send SMS to. And then I also added an instruction for sending SMS, right? And then almost follow the same thing. So it has a data tool, the query connection, the SMS notification tool, and all that, right? So let's quickly change this for the sake of time. So let's go to program. And I want to add, in addition to all that, the ability to do SMS. Anybody who wants to volunteer can volunteer the number in chat. I'll use it. Else, I'll try to use my own. Let's see if I can get. Yeah, if I can get Reflector opened. Remind me later. I'm going to try to connect to my, and while this is happening, I'm going to run it. 4, 2, 1, 3. Okay. So this is my phone out there. And so now it's connected to it. So I'm going to go ahead and say, send me the top performing region and the sales to, let's say, sales as an SMS to okay. So let's look at this. It's going to, and now let me bring this here. So what did it do? So it retrieved the information, and now look at this. So it sends a message, and look at that. Almost immediately, if you look on the screen, you'll see that I got a message, and it says, hello, the top performing region is North America with sales of 15,986 versus Contoso, right? That is because now it knows that it has the functionality. Oh, you said it's Blair, sorry. That is because now it has the functionality to send SMSs, right? So now this agent can send SMS using the Hoptel API, which is what I've created. That's what I'm saying. You could have it, you could have another service. It could be a Momo API that says that, so that's what I'm saying. In the areas of, let's say, an e-commerce shop where you want to do sales, perform sales, you could use it to, and when the person selects the object, even initiate, how do you call it? That can initiate a Momo, right? Momo payment, right? So that is how to create your very simple and beautiful agent, leveraging the Azure AI Foundry and then the AI service. So I know, I know one of the things that people are saying is that, okay, is this how nice it can be? It's just always in console. There's a question here from Henry. Henry says that what happens if one agent two fails, but its output is needed by another agent? Does AI Foundry handle this, or you do want to? So, and that's what we call, and that's what um, agent to agent or multi-agent. Yes, there's multi-agent. You can actually do a multi-agent service where it handles it, but because it's expecting it to come, if the output, which is going to be the input for the next agent, doesn't come, then that thread or that session doesn't work out. So you need to provide a fallback within the instructions. I mean, the model will try to be as realistic as possible to fall back, but that is why you try to give that instructions in the, how do you call it, in the instructions. Say that, hey, if you're unable to resolve it, come up with responses that are in this tone or in this set. But you can also write your own fallback logic. Maybe if it doesn't go through, this is the time for you to forward it to like how do you call it, like a human agent or something like that. So this is not the only way you can do it. Now, if this seems too code for you, let's show you. I'm going to go ahead and show you what I deployed already before the session, which is the same thing, but this time you see there's a UI to it. There's a bit of a beautiful UI to it, right? And this was done with the utility, right? This is the Conley utility, but this uses how do you call it? It runs on Python. It allows you to use Python to build a UI. So you could decide to use Web UI as well, but behind it is the same thing. So here, if I do help, this now gives me a good UI. So it's not, you're not seeing it in. So if I say help in French, right? So this is giving me a UI, not necessarily in the, how do you call it? Not in the console, as some of you might have it. So this is using Chinlet, right? So using Chinlet, and if you want to, you can. It's a very interesting tool that allows you to, so you just need to create an account and connect your application to it, whether it's Python or so. This is the tool. So if you go to Chinlet, I already have an access, so it's connected to me, and that's a utility that allows you to build front end, but it's still sitting on the same Azure AI Foundry and Azure project that I did. It's the same project that I pre-compiled before adding this update, so it won't have the SMS thing. But if I recompile it and push it again to Azure, it would have the SMS functionality, which I just showed you here as well. So those are the 4-5 demos. We're running a bit out of time, so I'll try as much as possible to walk through the rest of the slides that I have, and then I'll take your questions and we can follow up on my Friday show to get more details into it. But after build, because next week I'll be at build doing something similar, so you can follow up with me on build. So we've seen the agent component, right, which is the model and the instructions, which you just saw. It creates a thread, and then it runs it, whether I have to call a function or whatever it does, generate the response and send it back to the user, and the user responds, right? That is how it works. And I showed you the portal as well, right? So if you go to the assistance playground, like you see the file search and code interpreter, you can enable them on the portal directly. You can enable that on the portal directly. So that's why I said that. So if you don't want to do it in code like we did in code, you can do it. Now remember, the playground is just for you to test it. If you want to add this to your application, you have to programmatically add this into your application, right? But there are lots of things in there that in the playground that I shared with you that you can use. So the Azure OpenAI APIs include function calling, code generation, file search, context management, and all these things are out of the box for you to use by default. That's what makes it quite interesting. And what you've seen us do today is this way. Tell me total sales. The agent will build, leverage the model, in our case, it called an API, right? It called a Haptel API to be able to send the SMS, right? And then we leveraged a file, a PDF file, and it used all that to process and then return to the user. So you can see there's a natural language process, there's a dynamic SQL generation, the orchestration was there as well, and then the data processing. Somebody asked, when you ask a question about the multi-agent, this is where you do the multi-agent pattern, right? Where an AI there are multiple agents, right? Intelligent agents that are, performing different things. So in this case, we could have an agent which is just responsible for copilots, an agent which is just responsible for calculating discount, an agent which is just responsible for payment, and they all work in unison, all right? And this helps work together. So a multi-agent pattern will be something like this. You have a copywriter agent, an art director writer agent, and they are all in one group. And when the user asks a question, they will, depending on how the question is related to, it will know which agent to handle it. Now, the good thing about what the Azure Foundry and AI Agent Service has is that you can use different SDKs to build your agent. So within the multi-agent pattern, you can have an agent that is built with AutoGen, or built with semantic kernel, or built with Crew AI, right? You can have the multi-agent built on different SDKs, but they'll all coordinate properly and work out. So there's a question here. So it means someone says that Precious says, so does it mean that Azure AI gives access to its code that you can leverage on? Yes, there's an SDK that you can use to build or orchestrate your applications. So yeah, the SDK provides you easy way to use it. Currently supports Python and C#. And there's a TypeScript one as well. So you can use TypeScript. Just to correct that, Azure will not give you internal code. It will just give you a set of SDKs that you can use to interact with it, like we just did, right, with our application, but not the code in there. No, right? Then, so takeaways. What do you take away from today's session? Right, couple of things. First off, go do more with LLMs using function calling. Take it to the next level, like add service, add your own code. I've shown you how to add. I used our local Hoptel SMS endpoint for the agent to be able to send SMS. You saw that. Explore other frameworks. Look at the Azure AI agency, which we've used. If you've not heard about semantic kernel and AutoGen are all Microsoft products or frameworks for building agent, right, in C# and I think Python. Look at them to implement your own. Use UI or code to build your agent. You saw me use code and you saw me use a UI. You can go ahead and build. You could be integrating it into a search site, an e-commerce site. You can do that. Now we can't talk about agent and not talk about MCP, right? Model Context Protocol, which was propounded by Anthropic. Now you realize what just happened. We were giving instructions and creating tools, right? So if I need, so for instance, Hoptel has got a lot of services, right? Hoptel has got send SMS, send OTP, pay for things. Hoptel has a lot of services. If I want to go the function calling route, it means that I have to deploy or write all those functions. A function that will send SMS, that will send OTP, that will make payments, that will order food. I have to put all of them as tools. But what MCP provides us is the ability to use what we call the MCP protocol and MCP servers to host it. So for example, you see this example here. So the host is your IDE or your application, right? So in this case, it could be an IDE, it could be cloud desktop, or it could be your application, right? Leveraging the MCP protocol, what will happen now is that we could create a Hoptel MCP server that exposes all the Hoptel endpoints as what? As services and tools. So that now, once I leverage MCP, and you can leverage MCP in Azure AI Foundry, once I leverage MCP and I connect this MCP server, automatically it is going to do self-discovery and tell my application, hey, this MCP server or service, you can use it to send SMS, you can use it to send OTP, you can use it all in one. So I don't necessarily have to individually, right? I don't have to necessarily individually be writing function calls to call them. That is the advantage of MCP. And I'm glad to tell you that it's supported in Copilot Studio as well as the Azure AI Foundry and Agent Service. So MCP is, as they say, synonymously, is an open protocol standard that helps application connect to give context, right, to LLMs. So they say that in their own words, they say look at it as the USB-C port for AI applications, right? Just like the way it doesn't matter who manufactures a mouse, so far as you connect into a computer, the mouse will work by USB. It's the same thing. So it doesn't matter where the API is, so far as it uses the MCP protocol, it can be discovered in all the tools, added to it. And again, we can't talk about MCP without talking about the recent agent-to-agent protocol from Google, right? In this case, it allows it's just like multi-agent, right? But what Google is also trying to do is trying to standardize it, right? Make it an open protocol and compliance so that all companies can have it becomes like a standard that allows us to connect agents from different. So today I can build an agent from another company, and they can all coordinate and work together. So before we wrap up, wow, that's almost 2 hours. Wow. Thank you guys so much for joining. Before we wrap up, I'd like to say a big thank you to all of you. You can connect to me on my YouTube channel, on my WhatsApp channel, and follow all the things we do. So that when I release videos or when I come live to do some of these things, you would actually help us just participate and learn a lot more. Thank you so much for the time. I don't know if we have time for, well, let's say 8 minutes, so we can probably have some quick time to do Q&A. If there's any question you want to ask me, maybe we can use that time now to try to answer those questions before we call it a day. I'm really grateful for the times that you guys have spent here with me. I'm open to answering some of the questions which you might have. If you have questions, you can drop them in the chat for us to respond to it. Yeah. Else, if there are no questions, I would like, okay, I think there is Charles. Okay, Charles, you're welcome. You're welcome, Charles. You're welcome. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much, so much for spending the time with me. I'm grateful that you spent 2 hours of your time with me. I hope you learned something from it. I hope you picked something. I hope it actually helped you. For those who want to do low-code AI stuff, we can also consider Copilot Studio, which is a more of a low-code drag-and-drop way of building AI applications as well. If you don't want to go the route of these developers, you can go there. So actually, yes. So that would be, I don't know, code tools you can use to build the AI agent. So yeah, so that's Copilot Studio. So Copilot Studio is also the universal place of building almost the same thing that I'm doing. Copilot Studio also supports MCP as well, and almost allows you to do just what I've done, but in a no-code format, in a more drag-and-drop format. So you can do that from Copilot Studio. So you can check Copilot Studio. You can get a trial license and try it. It's quite interesting. But if you want to learn more, check out my Power Series YouTube channel playlist. I've done a couple of things there. It's changed drastically. It used to be Power Virtual Agent, and it changed to Copilot Studio. So I'm going to start all over again, how you can get started on that. So just subscribe to the channel and you can get a lot from it. Henry says, does Azure Foundry provide monitoring and logging? Yes, it does. So you realize I told you that there's observability at the layer of it. So from governance, monitoring, logging, and all that, you can see it. Let me see if I can I can show you that. Let me. Let's see if we can show you this. So I'm going to let me see if I can go back here and share my screen real quickly. So here, you can see from this side, right? So there is the evaluation, right? You can do an evaluation as well. Sorry, to show you this, I'll have to reset my Zoom, right? So that I can get all of them here. So there's evaluation for your model here as well. And you can add your data, like I mentioned. You can add data sources to this. Let's actually clear. Let's clear the chat. Sorry, it's not going to look a bit, but yeah, it has all that. It has all that information here for you to use, right? So it has observability, logging, and all that in place. So yes, Azure has that. How do you handle errors and exceptions in Azure AI Foundry? So um, again, in your instructions, right? Because the LLMs are pre-built to do or the language understanding or the NLP for you, you hardly get an error within the large language model, right? But within your agent, let's say if you're calling to a service and that service is erroring, then you need to include in the instructions how to gracefully fall back to, let's say, a more suitable response should that be the case, right? So that is what how do you call it? That is what you would do in telling it, hey, if there is a failure, you just have to handle that within your code to do that and gracefully fall that from it. I hope that answered your question, Wanda. Excellent. Many more questions. We have barely 2 minutes, top of the hour. And we will call this one a successful one. Be on the lookout for another season of AI that would handle a different section. But if you want to follow with me, bite on how to build some of the things, then you need to go subscribe to my YouTube channel. You need to let's see if do we have that QR code here? Let's see if we have the YouTube. Yep. So I believe we have. Yeah. So you can connect. There's a QR code somewhere at the top here. So you can scan that, and that should take you to my YouTube channel, and you can actually sign up to that my channel and then subscribe to it so that if I go live, right, you would be able to see what I'm doing. Hi, yep. Can we get the code? Can we get your code and slides, please? Like I said, the slides, I'm part of it under NDA, so I'd have to review that. And then if you registered for this session, I have the information there. So once we clear the NDA side of things, I'm going to send it. I'm going to send it out to as an email to all those who registered for the session. So I'll make sure I clear NDA. I need to be clear of the NDA before I can share that out, but I'll clear that and I'll share that with you guys. All right. So yeah. Writing down a few more. Oh yeah, and there is please. I know that. Let's do this for me. Sorry, I totally forgot. Please bear with me. I need you guys to fill this feedback for me. Please. Just scan the QR code down there. This feedback goes to Microsoft. I totally forgot. I should put that on the video we started. Please take a few minutes to fill this feedback form for me. I. Please take a few minutes and fill this feedback form for me. Yeah, it goes. This goes to Microsoft directly, and this allows us to know how the session worked for you, and so that we can. So the user group name, if you are asked for the user group name, it is Accra.net user group. It is Accra.net user group. Let me put this here. Let me add this here. Kindly indulge us, guys, if you can. So let me put this user group name. So the user group name is Accra.net. Yeah, so that is the user group. And I'm going to put the QR code. Yeah, so please, let's take a few more minutes. I see there are about 106 of us currently, according to the statistics on my dashboard right now. So yeah, the user group is Accra. Let me put it here for Accra.net. Yes. So let me put this here. So it's Accra.net and Azure. Yeah, so we put the Accra.net and Azure user group. That's the name of the user group. So yeah, we're about, and Azure provide access to AI tools for free. So yes, if you can sign up to get a free Azure account, right? Actually, let me show you now. For those of you who want to try all the other, all the other services for free without having to pay, there is a way to do that. So, for those that are staying and giving the feedback, I'm going to show that now. Let me bring the QR code, guys. Sorry, if I change my screen, I need to do that. So, I'm going to bring. Let me bring this here. Let me know if you can see my screen. Yeah, I'm still leaving the QR code there, guys. There are 100 of us here. Let's kindly give a feedback. Thank you very much, David Edemensa. Thank you for submitting the feedback. Kindly, please submit the feedback. There are 100 of us here. I want to see all that feedback. Please provide the feedback for us. So, if you go to let's do Power Platform Developer License. Oh no, actually Power Platform Developer. I'm going to show you the Power Platform so you can use that to access Copilot Studio for those who want to do no code, low code, right? You can use this. And then there is now if you are a student, right? If you're a student, you can also get the Azure Student free license or student pack, right? So let me make this a little big. So this is I'm going to put this in the chat as well. Okay. So if you go to the Power Apps, if you go to this site, thank you very much, Nanaya. So you can start for free, and this gives you access to a couple of the products. Like you can see, there's Power BI, Copilot Studio, Power Apps. So you can go ahead and you can try that using the license, right? So you can try that for free, and you can connect it to Azure and build your stuff. Now, you realize that Microsoft itself is even integrating an AI agent into their website, right? Right here. Maybe let me move myself. Let me see if I can move myself to the other side. There you go. So you see on this side, Microsoft itself is leveraging AI powered chat agent on its site, right? So you can try that from here. Now, if you're a student, this one is for you. You can also start for free. Your university wasn't supported. Okay, so if your university is not supported, all right, Elliot, can we, how do we do this? We can try to collect a list of people who are having issues with their school thing, and then we can connect, figure it out. But else, you can use one of these, and you have a lot of the services free for you to use. Or you can also leverage the student developer resources, right? So here, that gives you a couple of things. It gives you, you have GitHub, Visual Studio Code, Azure for Student, and then you also have Startup Hub. Now, if you were a young person, you have some idea, right? You have some idea of a project and you want to get free cloud spend, all that, you can also try the Startup Hub. We have tried it here at Crafted Climate, and we have some free credit from, okay, Henry, University of Mines. Okay. So it's good you brought this up, because I'm meeting some of the Microsoft guys this coming week. It will be something I can bring up and have a conversation on how they can do that, to get access to it. So it's good. It's a good point you've raised. And for the student here as well, right? Start thinking about emerging CAP. If you're not a student ambassador, you can reach out to me or Elliot, just at Elliot in the chat. Elliot will probably take your details or stuff like that, and we can look at what we can do for you. But start thinking about emerging CAP. For a long time, we've not had any Ghanaian institution join emerging CAP. Nigeria has, Kenya almost all the time. Emerging CAP is like a hackathon where you come up with AI-based ideas, and then you pitch it into a Microsoft. Emerging CAP is a Microsoft, and the students win a lot of prizes, get mentorship, get to meet a Microsoft, CEO and other stuff like that. So schools that are interested, let's have a conversation as well on how we can get that going, right? So with that said, thank you so much. We're going to give swags to all of you who showed up. We're going to give swags to all of you who showed up. So in order to record you for the swag, because we don't want you, if we blast it to all the 100 and something people, some people didn't probably show up. So if you're on the stream till now, please, I need you to, let me do this. Let me actually use I just need you to either put a comment in the stream, or let's do this. This one, there's no form to fill. Just comment, right? Whichever platform you are using, just comment season of AI for Yes, if you are okay. So Charles, if you've completed student ambassador program, are you gold or is just you just complete? What level did you complete? Swag, yes, yeah, Alfred. So yes, I'll be giving there are lots of swallow. There is a whole bag of swag. There is a whole bag of swag, guys. There is a whole bag of swag that I can't even see. See some of them. See some of them. It's like a pouch. Um, Look at all these GitHub pins. These are all GitHub pins. A whole bag of swag. So if you're on there, just so we know that you are here, please comment this code in the chat. And if you know that the name you're probably using is not the same name as your let's say your YouTube, LinkedIn, or whatever, please add your name to it. If it's not the same, like I know Sosu yours, I know Sosu is you. So as for you, I don't have any issues. So just comment this, and don't worry, I'll cross-check with those that submitted the feedback. So if you commented on it and you didn't send the feedback, I'm not giving you swags. We have plenty swags. Look, they're like the swags. I'm even afraid if I mean I might not even be able to carry. Look, there are plenty swags. Plenty swags. Plenty swags. See, we have GitHub pins, and I'm going to Microsoft Build, so that means I'm going to bring more swags. There's going to be more swag. See, there's a lot of GitHub pins. What else? We have a lot. Look, there is a lot of swags. Plenty swags. More swags here. More swags here. More swags. Plenty swags. See, there are pins. Those who came for the global AI, a global Azure, we have plenty swags for you. There's a lot of beautiful Microsoft Azure pins, right? So as for swags, we have plenty. We say we have plenty swag. So guys, yes, we have plenty swag. Comment SOA for 2025 and add your name to it if it's not the same as it, and make sure that you have submitted a feedback. Make sure you submitted a feedback, and then you would get your swag and more. You will get your swag and more. David, okay, awesome. I see that. Thank you. I'm now seeing Kojo. I'm now seeing all the ghosts who were quiet. The ghosts who were quiet on the platform. Yes, but yes. So let's give ourselves a couple of minutes. Yeah. So please, yeah, I think we are at time. Do you guys still need a few more time to fill up? Okay. So I'm going to give us 2 minutes. 2 minutes, 2 minutes, 2 minutes, 2 minutes, 2 minutes, 2 minutes, 2 minutes. So 2 minutes and we'll end the stream. Thank you very much. Once you've commented and you've submitted the feedback, my team will reach out to you and we'll get you the swag as well. Okay. So, Yusuf, apologies if you send me something on LinkedIn and I couldn't respond. My studio doesn't allow, or LinkedIn doesn't allow replies from my studio. But from yeah, but if you comment, I'll see. I just can't reply you from there on the studio, but I'll reply you after the stream is done. So we have the last minute, and then we'll end the stream, and I'll take the QR code off. So you need to provide the feedback for us, and then we will call it a day. And yeah, like I said, if you are asked for the user group name, is Accra.net and AI user group, right? If you're filling the feedback and you ask for the group name, yeah, very much. I'll send you swag. Don't worry. Also, me and you are here, so I'll send you swag. So yeah, I'll send you swag very much. So yeah, guys, thank you so much. It's been an awesome time, and please let's know if there's something specific that you'd love us to, especially walk through on building AI stuff. Let us know. But remember to get your swag. Please comment SOA4-2025. Put your name there. Okay, and then also make sure that aside that you've also filled the feedback form that goes to Microsoft. So that's the QR code there. Make sure that you scan the QR code for Microsoft. Give them the feedback. I'll have a list of it as well, and I'll tally it with the names and people that have commented under this, and you would get your swag. If you are also not a member of the user group, let me also put up the user group there. Yeah, so on the top right, there, you should also see the user group there. Is it top right? It's here. It's here. It's here. It's here. It's here. Yeah. So if you've not, if you're in, it's a WhatsApp group. Yeah. So top left. So my producers and moderators are saying to join the user group, the QR code on the top left will take you to our WhatsApp group. You can join the WhatsApp group anywhere you are in the world, but the QR code down is for the feedback. If you're asked for the user group name, it is Accra.net and AI user group. Make sure you put that there. But then if you want your swag, make sure you're commenting SOA4 2025. Thank you very much, Barima. Thank you very much. And like I said, look, this whole AI thing is not just restricted to just example you saw, right? You could be running a washing bay and you want to have it there to be able to do customer satisfaction. You could be selling in a small, in a small container, and you want to do analysis on how you are saying want to do. Look, you could be selling online. I was having a conversation with someone that, look, yes, AI would eliminate some jobs, but AI is changing the way we work, right? AI is changing the way we work. So until you adapt AI to make you more efficient, right? You'll be left behind, and that is where your job will be at stake, right? Because AI is doing a lot. That's what I'm saying, that look at AI as your junior programmer or junior engineer or junior developer that is helping you write the code, and you are just doing code review. So if you are giving a task that ideally would have taken you 2 weeks, now with the help of AI, you'll be doing that in like 3 days, right? Now, let me show you something. For those this is just a bonus, because this is a bonus, all right? This is a bonus. Actually, I think I want to do this update so that I can do the bonus. I can do the bonus. I know, right, guys? That's the thing. The moment I start to let's do this. Let's say user. I'm coming, guys. User group name. Okay. So I have updated to where the QR code is. You can see the user group name, Accra.net, and AI user group is there. Please submit it. And then let me update this as well. And then let's add the and then let's do the swag code. The swag code is a season of AI for 2025. Okay, and I just did that so I can move the note, the text from there. Okay, now guys, I'm going to show you something, right? I'm going to show something real quick, and this is for the bonus for those that are staying and giving us the feedback and doing all that. So please please give the feedback. I want to see all the 100 and something people give the feedback and also put in for their. We have a lot of swap now. I keep telling you that you cannot say in this era. So let's give an example. You are giving a task to create, let's say, an application, right? A dummy, let's say an Uber-like application, but for local food joints, right? That should be displayed. I'm just giving a hypothetical thing, right? You as a developer, whether you are full stack or backward, how can you leverage AI to be more productive so that it doesn't take you month upon month, or even weeks to be able to do that? Now, I'm going to show you something. I'm going to show you a quick workflow. Okay, so I'll start from ChatGPT. And I'm going to make this a little bigger. And then I'll show you another tool. Okay. Now this is free. This is bonus. This is bonus, guys. This is bonus. But I'll still need you to. I want to see everybody send the feedback before I give you this bonus. Before I give you this, and please, if this is something that you show me. Yeah, I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you something. You'll be blown away. And if it's something, right, and this is from both front end and back end. How many of you have heard about vibe coding? I do a lot of vibe coding lately for both front end and back end stuff. So something that will probably take me maybe 2 weeks to do. Now I can do it in like 2 days, right? That's what I'm saying, that AI is accelerating the way you work and it's changing the way we work. And therefore, if you want to be productive and efficient, that is what you need to do. Now, I can decide to enable audio and walk through this, but then let's go through this. I hope I have enough tokens for this. Okay, so let's say I want to give it a scenario. I want to create a cross-platform. Actually, let's do a website, right? So let's say I want to create a web application. Let's do this. Let's say I want to, and here I'm not following best practices from prompt. I just want to show you something real quick, right? Just for the sake of time. So let's say I want to create an Uber-like clone web application that shows real time on a map all the Wache food joints and provides an option to order. and have it delivered. All right. Create a technical implementation document for this app. Now I can decide to do deep research, right? And have it do deep research into like getting information from the web, but we're just keeping it simple. I want to show you how. So this is just an idea. I want to show you how with the help of AI, I can move from an idea into like an actual app. And once this is done, I'll show you something else I did in terms of some graphics applications that we are also building. So here is go ahead and say it's called Watch Go. So you see, this is it, key functionality, tech stack. I'm not even keen with the tech stack. You see, mobile app, cloud infrastructure, system architecture, core component, front-end modules, back-end module, right? Delivery, endpoint, security, assumption. So you see this, it's generated all this information for me, right? So the idea now is being documented, right? It's been pinned. Okay, the idea now is been pinned. Now, how can I take this idea and now make it to come to life? So what I can do is that I don't want to do any swagger mockup. I just want to show something real. I'm going to copy all this. Now, here, I hope my tokens, I don't need all of it, but I hope my token will be enough. Load time. Okay, so let's copy this. And now I'm going to go to another application called Bolt.new, right? Which is an AI generative platform that allows you to build front ends. Now I'll come in here and say, I'm going to start a new chat, paste it here, like paste all this information here, right? If I like, what I can do is that, let me make this a little big. If I like, what I can do is that I can click on enhance prompt with its AI capabilities, and it's going to go ahead and, okay, so you see, create, so it's enhanced it. Create a comprehensive technical specification for Wache, blah, blah, blah. So you see, it says what? A detailed system architecture, technical, blah, 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 errors, provide clear documentation. Anyway, so, you know what? Let's use, okay, after this, let me see something. Let me be sure that it's captured payment implementation key, front end, back end, all major details. No. You know what? Let me stick to the one I brought. I know why I want to do that. So I'll just, at the end of the day, just go and say, let's create the front end and back office for this. Now, this is not the correct prompting. I'm just showing you something, all right? I hope I have enough tokens. So it's thinking. Okay, there we go. It's going to say that, so this is it. Now look at what's happening. It started building the application for me. From an idea I had from putting it into ChatGPT, I could, again, that's what I'm saying, I could have gone through ChatGPT, redefine it until I got the thing. But this is just bonus. I'm also being mindful of the time. So I can just, like really define it. But this is just an example. So pick this, not even properly defined, come to Bolt and put the same specification. Now put the technical specification of building the application into Bolt, right? So right now, we're standing here, we're right here. And I just thought about an idea. Oh, I want to build a Watch Go platform, right? It could be mobile, it could be web, blah, blah, blah. And now see what's happening. And that's it. So here, the rest is vibe coding. The rest is just telling it, no, change this. No, put this here. No, let's make this. Let's change this. Let's put this here. Let's switch this. Let's put this here. And then at the end of the day, I hope I have enough tokens to do this. And you see, and here I wasn't even specific. I didn't even tell it what framework to use. I could have said use Tailwind, use Vite, use Next, use this database, and it would completely do that. Now, these are some of the things you'll be enjoying on my channel if you subscribe and you join us. But this is just, like I said, this is just Jara. This is just, this is just, and look at this. So that's what I'm saying, that now you, as a productive engineer, this is like your junior front-end engineer building the code for you. And all you are going to do is, let's change this. So now AI has become your partner. AI has become your co-pilot. I've been using both for a week now. I heard about it on TikTok. Yeah, I have been using it for a couple of times now. And I pay for it. Because I see the value in it, I pay for tokens and I use it. And it's making my work a lot easier. So today, my turnaround time is very short. So I can have a conversation with a client, and within the next couple of like a day or two, I can have something to show to the client from API to the front end and deploy that. So that's what I'm saying, that you need to, whatever you are working with, you need to start leveraging AI as a means or as a way to help you to be more productive. If you sit and you say that, oh, AI is there, no. What's happening is that the people who, like right now, if let's say me and some other person were bidding for this project, and this other person doesn't have anything of knowledge or use case for AI and all that, I will sit here right now as we are talking. I should have put a timer on this thing to see how long this happens. I would have been able to provide a proof of concept or an MVP today or tomorrow to the client, whilst this other guy is spending midnights burning the oil trying to. Do you get where that's going? And that is the power of what AI can help you do. It's not just about summarizing reports. It's not just about just generating text, or there is a lot of use cases to it. When I'm done with this, I'll show you guys some that images we've generated for a project you are working on and creating some character Bibles, all leveraging the power of AI. Now look at all this. Now for the front end, for people who are doing front end engineering, tell me, within a couple, it's not being an hour, right? It's not being an hour. But do you realize that would you have been able to create all these files? And it's going to be you can click through it. It will do the UI. It might not add detailed functionality, but you can click through the application and see which one is not working and start fine-tuning it. No, here, change this a bit. Here, no, tweak this a bit. Here, push this a bit. And then as you do that, you would come up with a complete application. All right. So yeah, that's the bonus. There's another bonus, but I won't give it until I get. Now we've had about 59 of you fill the feedback form. So maybe the other Jara, I'll put it in the fridge. Not even 20 minutes. Yeah. It's not even been 20 minutes. And look at it, spin up all these things. And I'm just hoping for it to finish. I hope I have enough tokens for it to finish. And we'll run the application for you to see from just an idea. So here it's just like you guys can be drinking beer, right? Both is in collaboration with DevPost is organizing a hack. Yes. That's true. It's true. Yeah, they're also organizing a hackathon. Yes, because this was something I wanted to. I should have, but yeah. So if you're interested, you can sign up. It's a 1 million for vibe coders. So you can, just like what we're doing vibe coding right now. So you can have a bunch of your friends, instead of you going to TikTok and seeing and watching unnecessary things, you can have a couple of your friends, huddle up, think about some idea, and then vibe coding. Within a 2-hour session, you guys would have had an MVP going. So instead of you spending all that time, and you see, and this could be an application it creates work. Yeah, it works perfectly well. That's what I'm saying. I'm hoping that I have enough tokens to do this. When is that? You see, we'll run it. So if you even if you like, you can even integrate it with Supabase and tell it to connect to Supabase and it will do all that for you. It will connect it. So right now, all you need to do is, you see, that's why I gave you a concept. I started from Copilot. Sorry, ChatGPT. And ChatGPT gave me a specification document, right? I could even go further and tell ChatGPT, to be more detailed in the documentation it's creating on the functions and features. And then now I can bring that here and ensure that this function is working. If it's not working, I just go back and change the prompt. Okay, on this page, when you click this pattern, this is the flow. Tell it the flow. It will rewrite the file again. Yeah, it looks like we're getting there. So I've seen the pages, the layout. I've seen a lot of components, button, card, avatar, badge, toast, loading, main layout, nav bar. And I just wanted to, I'm just hoping I have enough tokens for it to done. Okay. What else? Okay, other history. So you see, it's building all these things. So all you need to do, you can download the code now, and then just now make changes, modify, make changes, modify, make changes, modify. Can you help me know how to deploy it and how? Yeah, I have deployed. I think I've deployed a few of them. Yeah. I'm just waiting for us to get this done. So you see the pages that you see, the customer is creating all the pages. I want this to finish. It will run it. We will test it out. And you can see I have a functioning application. And you can download the file, deploy it in any. This one will use, I think some are created using Vite, some are created using Next. So this is Vite. So yeah, it's just like deploying any Vite application, whether I want to do it as a static application or in Netlify or Vessel. Anyway, you can download the zip file and go and upload it. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Imagine going to write all these codes as front-end and back-end developer. Yeah. So for the back-end developers, there's another one, but I will show you. I'm still at 59, so if I don't get 100 people to give the feedback. And anyway, I'm going to end the live. I'm going to end the stream very soon. But if you want to catch how to do vibe coding with copilots for back-end engineers when you're building APIs, there's also, copilots, and you can use Sonnet Cloud to build APIs. Sweet. You can actually reference, for instance, if you're asked to implement, let's say the Hoptel API or some API, all you need is you can go to their documentation or Swagger documentation, fetch it in the copilot, tell it using this specification in the documentation, let's create or integrate the API into our application, and then just sit and watch it, vibe code with it, and we'll do the implementation. I'll be showing that on not this coming Friday because I'll be in build, but the next Friday. So go and subscribe to my YouTube channel if you want to learn how to do it. Now we're just waiting. Okay, so now look at this. It is done. It says I've created a foundation for Wache Ego platform with a focus on creating a beautiful functional interface for both customers and vendors. The implementation includes the front-end features as responsive design with beautiful animation, intuitive. Now, this is normal, right? So if it finds issues like this, it's vibe coding. All you need to do is you just go and say, hey, either you attempt to fix it or you say, hey, let's discuss the problem. So it will tell you, okay, this is what I realized, and I think I can change it this way, or the issue was from this, and then you can vibe code and fix it. So when it was trying to run it, it found some issue. I've asked it to fix it. It's going to go through and fix it. Yeah, imagine having to build this. Okay, we're still at 59. So the rest is going to go into the deep freezer. The rest is going to go into the deep freezer. If I don't get at least 60 or 100, I won't show it, or I won't walk through the page. Yeah, so guys, you need to add AI. You need to add some AI stuff to your, you need to add some AI stuff to your portfolio, right? You need to add a little to it. Whatever you're doing, there is some applications of AI at different. Could you please leave this video? Oh no! I can't leave this video for you. I counted out those who commented. Okay, solid. All right. Okay, so it looks like 44 people have commented, but oh yeah. So let's fix. There's some changes that you're still looking out for. Mm-hmm. So sometimes it says things are missing, but it's just because it created them and it's just trying to map them on it up being ordered. So yeah, it's mapping all of them. Yeah, and this is it. Like, so you write code with it. Could you? Don't worry. You can go back and watch the video. It's going to be on mine. So if you watch it on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitch, X, it's going to be there, right? It's going to be there even after the live for you to watch. I know that it is only now Facebook says after 30 days it's going to remove your videos. But I think on YouTube it's still going to be there. I just need to probably publish it, but it's going to be there on demand, right? Okay, Modulify is also okay. Okay, that's a good one. I will take a look at. Okay, so let's see. What is it saying? It says that let's discuss the problem, and let's see what is. I'll look. Yeah, I'll also look into that. But I've tried V0, I've tried Lovable, I've tried Bolt, and Bolt seems to be to work, quite good for for me. From a couple of things I have done. Okay, so it says that create. Okay, so let's fix this. Let's fix this back. Yeah. Wow. We need to end this on the top of the hour. This has been a very long stream, just because I wanted to add another. I wanted to add bonus for you people. Okay. So you see, what I'm only doing is that I'm having a conversation with the AI, but you can only use it by subscribing. Yeah, even for Bolt and V0, you still have to create an account, right? But for the level of work I do, I have a subscription for them because it sells my purport, and so yeah, you have a limited number of tokens. Yeah, that I know. Okay, so let's discuss this. And this is it. So you go, and here again, like I said, I can decide to either take over and try to manually fix it, but I'd rather go through the process with it to try to fix the issue that is going there. Sometimes you can just read through it and see whatever. Or what you can do is, if you don't want to use tokens, you can download the zip file, right? You can download it, bring it into your code base, and then fix it, because the large chunk of it is done for you already. Yeah. All right. So if it doesn't work, I'll try to fix it outside the stream. If you want to see it, go subscribe to my channel, go connect with me, and then in the next session I'll probably show it working before we continue. So yeah. So with that said, ladies and gentlemen, I would call this a day. And please, like I said, get some AI in your system. Get some AI, as part of your portfolio. Learn how to integrate it. Try to practice what we've shared, and then make yourself more employable. In the next phase of employment or skills, just the way you're going to look for a job, you say that, oh, I am Microsoft or Office proficient. You now have to say, I am AI proficient or I'm AI native. That is something that you need to have at the back of your mind, right? So with that said, thank you guys so much for spending all this time with me. The devil's a liar. Just when I was about to, end, it decided to fix all the things now. Okay, well, we shall see about that. So I guess I'm going to enjoy it alone. Now, check this out. Guys, what do you think? Check this out. Now, see what happened. This is AI, right? It did some research in the background and knows that there is anti-muniwachi. You see this here, right here. It knows that there is something called anti-muniwachi. There's Hajj special. You see that? There is Osuwache Paradise. There's Legon Wache Station. There's Airport Wache Station. Now, look at this. Look at that. And you see, it's giving us why choose Wache Go. Real-time tracking, quick delivery. I can view as a map. Look at that. It's added all of them to the map. I can look at those that are open. I can look at the top rated ones. And you see, it's showing you currently closed. This is an application I can just deploy and start selling to be a vendor. So that's what I'm saying. Sometimes the functionality might not be fully there, but you can just tell it, oh, when I click on this button, it's not working, and you will work on it. Now, let's see if my orders will do something. Look at that. This is my orders, history. Antimoniwachi on the way. Track order. And I said it. Sometimes it will error out, and then you apply a fix, and then it will go ahead and fix it. But look at that. Look at that. It's done it for me. And I'm sure, let me see if we can go to the back office. So it's created it's created both the front end and the back end for you. This one I'm giving you free filler. Free filler. So you see, we didn't have it's not been 1 hour, guys. Like when we started to vibe code this from ChatGPT to the site, it's not been 1 hour. It is not. But we have an application. And you see the top here where there's export. Under my logo here, I can easily export the zip file and upload it. And now all that is left is if I want to fine tune the API, I can now go and vibe code the API as well. And it's done. Yeah, this is done. So there you go. So if I go to my orders and I want to do track, look at that. So I see it's using leaflet. Antimoniwache regular 2, subtotal, delivery fee 1060. So payment, mobile money. See? On the way. It's done it for me. And I noticed that if you go down there, there's a vendor dashboard. Now look at the vendor dashboard. Right? Today's orders, average daily time, 28 minutes. Customers, 542, 2 for today, rating, 4. Most popular items, wache, special wache with salad, student pack. Look at that, all the order information. You can click here to view the order. If it's not functional, I'll just tell it when I click on it, it doesn't work, then we'll fix it. Now I can go to orders. See, these are the recent orders, all orders, pending orders, prepared, ready, delivered. All is there. You have the menu. This is the menu that you can show. So if somebody goes to your portal, you see the menu, and then you can see the settings. There you go. This is for antimony. This is an example of antimony. So this is the business hours. This is the pricing and fees. If you have any images or staff notification, there you go. And go to the dashboard. Right? Yeah, watch it to go. So, yeah, ladies and gentlemen, yeah, thank you so much. This has been a very interesting session. I hope you learned a lot. I hope this inspires you. I hope, how do we call it? I hope this actually makes you want to learn a lot. So thank you for joining the stream. Like I said, until I come your way again, hopefully in 2 weeks on Friday, keep learning, keep adding skills to yourself. Have the growth mindset. Learning never stops. And like I always end, let's make the world a better place through technology. I am out. I still remain Samuel Adranyi, and I'll catch you on the flip side.